What do you think makes our relationship work?
I don't really think we have much in common.
Well, one of us is really good looking and in great shape, and the other one's name is Sasha. No, I'm kidding. There's no chance we're leaving this podcast without a shot of that stomach. Let's go. There's no way. Like a piece of meat.
I think athletics and exercise has been probably one of the most important parts of my life. It creates a work ethic and a discipline that I think is very hard to learn otherwise.
You landed this place called Second Home. It's like one of the most unbelievable pieces of real estate. Just if you could share with people any insight into how you could land something like that.
So really the secret, I think, is persistence. I cold called and cold emailed every week for 8 months straight until they couldn't get my face out of their head.
His name is Sugar Free Rich. Look, this guy is an inspiration. Cue the shot to him building his own meal delivery service. Sasha, what is your deal of the week?
Force yourself to go outside, turn your phone off and do a workout. For me, it's been the best therapy ever.
Law flip, objection, your honor. Turn the game upside down. Law flip, objection, your honor. Turn the game upside down.
Welcome to Law Flip. It's a conversation about law, life, health, real estate, and everything in between. So tomorrow is a very consequential day. And I'm talking about this group that I co-founded for Motion LA. We're having a workout tomorrow night. Nothing else is going on in the world. So we have a 25-year-old young star in the building. He's a former Division I tennis player. In a few short years, he's taken his commercial real estate career to high levels. He's obtained listings that are highly sought after. He's also co-founded the hottest entrepreneur workout social club in the world called Motion LA with yours truly. And we want to find out, what are the kids talking about these days? You know, these young 24, 25-year-old kids. What are they up to? And that's what we're going to find out with our guest, Sasha, a.k.a. Alex Solonen. Welcome.
Thank you, Benji. Thank you for having me. I'm super excited.
Absolutely. Okay.
I've been waiting for this for a while.
Me too. Okay, so don't forget to follow us everywhere on social media at LawFlip and subscribe and call us. And our new telephone number, it's 1-833-LawFlip. 1-833-LawFlip. Sasha, how are you doing?
I'm doing amazing, Benji. Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing pretty well. You know, it's nice to have you in the building. First of all, let's clear up the whole Alex versus Sasha controversy. What is your actual name?
So my birth name is actually Alexander. And for those who don't know, in Russian, it's this weird translation where every Alexander actually is Sasha, whether it's a guy or girl. So Alexandra is Sasha. Alexander is Sasha. So why, you asked me, I have no idea. I couldn't explain the reason how that came about, but every Sasha that you meet who's Russian or even Eastern European, you could almost assume their name is Alexander.
Okay, but there's no Vladimir.
I'm not a Vladimir, no.
Okay.
I'm just a Alexander and Sasha.
Okay, so where did you grow up?
I was born in Kyiv, Ukraine, and I moved to US when I was about 4 years old with my parents and my mom's parents, who all live in LA now. My parents live in Tarzana. My grandparents live in Woodland Hills. I grew up in
Los Angeles for anybody.
All Los Angeles, yeah. I grew up in Tarzana in Los Angeles and really spent my whole life here. I actually went to college in Malibu at Pepperdine University as well. So I've been pretty much an LA native my entire life.
What about language? So was English your first language or?
I learned English a little later on. So I moved here when I was a few years old, and it took me actually some time to learn English because when we moved here, my parents didn't really speak much English also. And even to this day, our household is predominantly Russian speaking, but I learned English when I started going to school. So I think about 6, 7 is when I really started learning English and kind of making it my own language. But till that point, it was all Russian.
Okay, so one of the first things that strikes anybody about looking at you is that you look really smart. No, you're 6'6", you got an incredible athletic body. You played Division I tennis at Pepperdine. How important has exercise and athletics been part of your life?
I think athletics and exercise has been probably one of the most important parts of my life, and not only for the fitness aspect of looking good and feeling good, but it's actually created a structure in my life from the time I started tennis when I was first 5 years old, playing competitively national and international tournaments through high school, all the way through college. It creates a work ethic and a discipline that I think is very hard to learn otherwise, because you're really forced to, whether you want to or not, train early mornings, train in the afternoons, and really make your whole life about this one sport where you're competing against people really in the entire world and trying to be the best player you can be. So it created a discipline in me that I'm super thankful for, again, because I think even to this day where I'm not competing, I structure my life as the same way as I did when I was still competing, from when I wake up to breaking my day up to really making sure I get a workout every day. I think it's been really huge in my life.
So you play Division I tennis at Pepperdine, and you ultimately you don't have a long career in tennis playing professionally. Was that disappointing?
You know, a little bit. My whole life, I actually thought I was going to be a professional tennis player, as many kids do. And coming into college really kind of changes things a lot, because in high school, for people who don't know, I was actually homeschooled specifically for the reason of tennis, where I was traveling every week to tournaments across the nation, internationally, and really competing every single weekend. So I wasn't able to have a normal high school experience. I never went to prom. Never had the high school graduation. I was just doing online classes, had tutors once or twice a week, was training at different academies, and just traveling all the time. So I think coming into college, it gives you that first experience of kind of what normal life is like, and kind of experiencing for the first time that there's actually more than tennis, because even from the school aspect, I didn't go to classes all of high school, which is crazy to think about. I've never
Is that
attended.
like just a tennis thing? Because I feel like in high school, most kids that played sports still went to high school.
Yeah, it's an interesting point. So high school, for some reason, tennis for some reason doesn't really exist in high school. You look at football, you look at basketball, colleges recruit directly through high school. But for tennis, you have to compete on a either United level in this organization called USTA, which is the United States Tennis Association, or ITF, which is the International Tennis Federation. And college coaches actually come to these biggest tournaments and recruit you by your ranking and how you perform in these tournaments. So if you just play high school tennis, you'll never get recognized by any Division I school, and you'll never get a scholarship, will never get recruits. You're almost forced to take this path if you want to kind of pursue that career.
Okay, so then you understand you're not going to go play tennis professionally. You move on to commercial real estate. You go land at CBRE, it's the gold standard in terms of commercial real estate. You work with Mark Landver, good senior broker, and very quickly you start taking your grit and your effort, and you land things like you landed this place called Second Home. It's like, I visited you there. It's one of the most unbelievable pieces of real estate that I've ever seen. Just if you could share with people any insight into how you, a 24-year-old, I think at the time, could land something like that. What are some of like the sort of hacks, for lack of better words?
It's interesting because people, when they think of commercial real estate, they think, I'm going to go into commercial real estate, I'm going to make a lot of money. For whatever reason, I think there's that notion around it, but it's honestly one of the toughest things I've ever done in my life for a number of reasons. One, coming into the business, it's a full commission business. So at no point have I been paid a salary. I'm not giving monthly stipends. You're not given anything. You have to find your own deals, close your own deals, and that's how you get paid. So really the secret, I think, is persistence and really just being consistent. And to bring you back to a point that we discussed earlier, I think that's where tennis really came in, because having that competitive nature, I always want to chase more. I want to get bigger deals. I want to win clients from other firms. So it's really just being consistent, always following up, always adding value, and every day just not letting off the paddle. The second you relax, the second your business falls. So you always have to keep in mind and really stay sharp.
And that's amazing. But on a deal like on a deal like Second Home, like what are some of the sort of maneuvers that you make to, let's say, get a deal with a big developer or something like that? Like everybody's trying to cold call and cold email. Are you doing anything unique that maybe other people aren't doing?
I cold called and cold emailed every week for 8 months straight without letting off for
Second Home.
The owner, the CEO, the developer, everybody. I would cold call them, email them, show up, cold call, email, show up for events until they couldn't get my face out of their head. And that's really,
that's amazing.
I had no relationship really to them prior. They didn't know who I was. They've never worked with me, didn't have any family, friends, relatives in common. It was just 8 months of pure cold calling outreach. And I think we almost lost the deal 4 times. And it's funny because when I started pursuing the Second Home account, there was a different CEO in place. The CEO left, another CEO stopped in place. We lost the deal, we won it back, won it back. And I've gotten many no's from them. And I just kept calling different people in the organization until they put me in touch with the right person. And
That's amazing.
It took probably like 50 calls and dozens of meetings to get that deal.
Incredible. Okay, so we met through our friend Jonathan Hirsch, legend, also known as Zeke or Jono.
Zeke, yeah.
And I feel like right from the start, we developed a good friendship, even though I'm like 37, you were 23 at the time, I think. And I think we always wanted to build a project together. And you guys, like, I wasn't in great shape at all, and you guys were in incredible shape, and you were trying to get me to do a pull-up. You pulled me into the gym, and we always kind of talked about doing a project together at some point. Fast forward a couple years, which was like 6 months ago in the middle of the pandemic, you invite me to go work out at UCLA, and what happened?
I think the way it started is you replied to one of my stories and saw me working out at UCLA, and you wanted to join. So we set up a day. I think you came. I think it was just us two for the first time, and you kind of came to just watch. And there was this whole environment at UCLA, which is, granted, it was mid-pandemic. It was just vibrant. People were full of energy, full of life, and it was such an exciting environment. And I think that's really when the idea first started of creating a workout that kind of takes that energy, but also connects business, entrepreneurship, and really marries the two ideas of fitness and entrepreneurship into one.
I remember when I was like, yeah, let's do this thing. Like, your eyes were like bulging out of your head because you, from the day I met you, you've been so excited about life and finding purpose around work and not just chasing money. And I remember early on you talking about stories about like, yeah, there's people that make X dollars, but like they seem really unhappy. And I think that's really important that you were able to have the foresight at your young age to know like that's not what you wanted. And so just maybe you could express a little bit how Motion LA is developed and why it's been meaningful to you.
Yeah, I mean, Motion LA's really meant the world to me for a number of reasons. I'm very passionate about connecting people. I'm passionate about fitness, and being able to do those two things together is really a dream come true for me. I mean, I work out pretty much every day regardless. I'm always, from real estate to my personal life, trying to connect people, connect myself with people, and really find the missing pieces to essentially help other people out. So I think Motion LA ties all those things together. And again, I think in building Motion LA, it follows a theme. I know when we first started, the first workout, we had 2 other people come or 3 other people, and we really just stayed consistent every week for 5-6 months, not missing a week. And I think there's that theme of consistency that if you really want to be good at something and do something, you just have to stay consistent, persistent, and really not let your foot off the pedal. And I think it's the same story with Motion LA.
Yeah. I think about our parents' generation. I think about how they didn't really have an option but to work their butts off and provide for their families. And then I think more towards like my generation, it starts to slowly get to like, well, we want careers that we enjoy and we love. And like, I think there's been almost too much of a flexibility for us to do whatever we want. But there is a sense between, your generation, my generation, of really trying to enjoy what we do. And so I'm wondering, how has it been? How has it been for like the kids your age, 23, 24, 25, the Instagram generation, to try to actually focus on a career like commercial real estate and maybe build some of these projects that you enjoy and work out and all this sort of balancing act?
I think Instagram makes it really tough for everybody because you have a phone in front of you where you have access to the lives of hundreds of millions of people essentially, and you're always looking what other people are doing, whether they're on a yacht, sailing somewhere, they're on vacation, they're driving this car, they have this thing. And it's really, as much as you try to not keep those things in mind, you're almost just being fed all this information. And it's really hard not to compare yourself to other people. Why does this person, which it seems like they have the dream job, they're so happy, which you really don't know.
They get to travel every week, they get to do whatever
and
they
who
want.
knows, maybe they're posting old travel videos from months ago. We don't know, but it just forces you to compare people. So I think the toughest part is really, again, just like finding something that you love doing, because I think for me, my biggest fear is being trapped into doing something for the next 40 years of my life that I don't enjoy doing, and I'm only doing it to make money and support myself,
or to impress these people that are on Instagram or
exactly.
otherwise.
And it just seems like a miserable life to me.
Yeah.
So
the weirdest thing that we've talked about a lot is like the mentality around buying fake followers. I have to just express this. So I understand that sometimes you want to make yourself look good in order to either get business or make people, girls or whatever like you or stuff like that. I can't for the life of me understand why anybody with any sense of sophistication would think that another person with any sense of sophistication would ever view an account of yours where it's so obvious that you pay for fake followers or fake comments and think that that's going to be like a good thing to build your credibility. Like what's been your experience with seeing people and there are people that I know, and I'm not trying to offend anybody that does it, but like, do you understand the mentality of that from like your peers?
I think we live in a generation now where when you meet someone, you're not even exchanging numbers anymore. You're exchanging Instagrams. And I think having those larger amount of followers in a way kind of legitimizes you as a person. So let's say we're out somewhere, I meet you, I give you my Instagram, and you're like, wow, this guy's 15,000 followers, this guy's 20,000 followers. And at first glance, obviously, I don't know if they're real or not. So I'm like, oh, wow, this guy has a lot of followers. He must be doing something interesting to be generating these followers. But then you kind of like dig in, then you see, okay, so he has 15,000 followers. He gets 150 likes, and every other picture he gets maybe 2 comments.
Right.
So it makes you wonder, why do people do it? I think it's more of an ego thing. And it's like a mix of maybe just trying to impress people.
And so what are some of the other sort of fears or challenges you think the kids of your generation have?
Also, again, it ties back into a mix of comparing yourself to other people. And really, I think everyone wants to be somebody in someone else's eyes. And I think the hardest thing to do is kind of really focus on what you want to do. And a lot of times with any business, for the unforeseeable beginning, you're really not winning or being successful when you start off. So I think it's really taking the risk of doing it. And again, I think people want to create the impression that they're so successful, they're so accomplished, when maybe they're not. And I think accepting the fact that you're not is fine, because the first thing, like in terms of accepting it, you like you said, you build, and then whether it's in 3 years, 10 years, you'll actually be able to live the life that you want versus kind of faking it the whole time. Because when you're young, you could fake it, but at what point can you keep faking it till? So at some point you really have to put that aside and actually try to create a life of happiness.
I also think that, the sooner, the quicker that I've come to realize that I have to feel integrity in the way that I operate, regardless of whatever everybody else thinks, the quicker I've been able to obtain happiness and contentment. Like I just try to do things, not to say that I figured it out, but I'll tell you, like, there's been a transformation in the way that I feel about myself from the time where I just think I did what everybody else did. I was like, oh, you have to buy the house. You have to drive this car. And I just feel like I've slowly chipped away at a lot of those rules and become a more authentic version of myself. Like, oh no, it would be so embarrassing if I said that publicly. And the truth is that everybody has their shit. Everybody has their skeletons. And I think that one of the things I'm most proud about in our relationship is how candid we are with each other, how open we are with each other. And then with like Motion LA and creating this whole community, we don't pretend to be anything that we're not. We always say that, like, even putting together Motion LA, it's hard. We have to incorporate, you have to get insurance, you have to get worker, you have to do all these different things just to build it. And it's not like some Fortune 500 company. It's just something that we're building, that we love, that we enjoy. And I think that if there's anything that we can advocate, it's like find somebody. I think, like, I love working with you. Like, we just have complementary skills and experience. And I think that one of the things that I try to tell people is to focus on finding people that you enjoy being around for work, for pleasure, for anything. And for our sake, we were able to do sort of all of it together.
Yeah, definitely. And I think, again, in terms of work, like finding someone you enjoy being around for work is probably the most important thing. Because, I mean, you spend the majority of your day, Monday through Friday, with those people, whether you're actually with them in person or not, but you're always communicating. So I think it's find that small group of people, ideally, who you could really trust, bounce ideas with, rely on, is probably one of the most important things in life. And I think actually one of the toughest things to find.
Yeah. What do you think makes our relationship work?
It's just how different we are in our different perspectives. And it's like a mix of life experience, age, kind of our accomplishments in our own respective fields. I don't really think we have much in common in a way, which makes it us have more in common in this weird way.
Well,
And
one of us is really good looking and in great shape, and the other one's name is Sasha. No, I'm kidding. I taught this guy everything he knows about working
fitness
out.
and
Could you
tennis.
just could we just get one shot? We have to. There's no chance we're leaving this podcast without a shot of that stomach. Let's go. Come on. We have to. There's no way. You're like a piece of meat. That was the greatest. Okay, moving on to deal of the week. So my deal of the week is another Law Flip podcast guest. His name is Sugar Free Rich. Look, this guy is an inspiration. Cue the tape of the guy losing 200 pounds and showing him at 450 to like 250 in like 10 months. And then cue the shot to him building his own meal delivery service, which is incredible. I pay for it. He's not paying me. I pay for this food. It is so good. He gives you 3 different types. And Sasha, you can speak to this for a second. Chicken, steak, or salmon and mustard encrusted salmon. It's incredible. You have to order it. He's not paying me for this. This is a love you, Sugar Free Rich deal of the week. I love you, man. All right, Sasha, what's your deal of the week? And you can throw in whatever you want about Sugar Free Rich.
Sugar Free Rich is incredible. It's healthy. It tastes good. It's light. It's one of those lunches that you eat and you're not going to be drowsy the rest of the day. It's really incredible. So I highly recommend trying out Sugar Free Rich. And also, we're going to have Sugar Free on Motion LA very soon.
Yes,
so
we are. We're going to do a collab.
Who,
A collab. We're doing a collab with Sugar Free Rich and Motion LA. Check out at Motion_LA for the details. Sasha, what is your deal of the week?
My deal of the week is to go outside, ideally twice a week, but once a week. Force yourself to go outside, turn your phone off and do a workout. For me, it's been the best therapy ever. Whether you go for a walk, you run 2 miles, you do 20 squats, 20 push-ups, 20 sit-ups, it doesn't matter, but just really get yourself out of the house, do a workout, get active, get a sweat in, ideally somewhere in nature, whether it's by the beach. I love working out in Santa Monica on Ocean. It's really like a vacation for me every time I work out there. And
here's a question though. You said no phone. I'm a music guy. If I'm going to work out, how do you do the no phone workout?
when I say no phone, I mean, I listen to music too. I don't open my phone. I just press next song. I don't check Instagram. I don't check emails. I don't answer calls. I just have only music. And for whether it's the 30 minutes, the hour, I'm only listening to music and working out. And it's really one of the greatest things in life, at least in my life. And
amazing.
I highly recommend everybody try.
Great deal of the week. Okay, we are on to legal tip of the week. So this is sponsored by Smith & Benowitz. It's an amazing employment, personal injury, and class action law firm. Also happens to be my law firm, so call me anytime you have any questions. So if you're an hourly employee who has to fly for work, it actually is happening. Even in the middle of a pandemic, people are still flying places. It's crazy. You're entitled to be paid for your flying time. So you're up in the air. You're like, oh my God, this is so bougie. My employer sends me on a flight and I get to do that and he pays for it. I don't need to be paid for this time. No, you do need to be paid for this time. So you better get paid for this time. And if you don't get paid for this time, call me at 1-833-LAWFLIP. You can email me at benjamin@smithbenowitz.com. Just get a hold of me. Knock on my door. Do what you got to do. Just get a hold of me. We'll get you paid for those flying hours, all right? What did we learn today? We learned that just being good looking and tall isn't the only thing that Sasha is. He's also a thoughtful, hardworking individual that's busting his butt in real estate, putting together the missing pieces of Motion LA. He's working out. He's not checking his phone during the workout other than changing the songs. He's a guy on a mission to create a better world. And so what I want to hear from you, Sasha, is how do people find you online? And any parting words for the Law Flip audience?
So my Instagram is just my name, Sasha_Salonen. You could reach me there. Sasha Salonen at CBRE. Everywhere else, it's all Sasha Salonen, not Alexander. And parting words. Just I think again in the midst of all this craziness, just really trying to enjoy life and almost maybe not working as much and just really taking small moments for granted, calling your parents, calling your grandparents, because you never know what's going to happen the next day. And those moments are what really matter in life.
Thank you so much. All right. We will see you next. By the time we see you next week, there's going to be a new president. But we don't care about that. We just care about keeping it moving. No, we care about that. We've talked about that. So you'll see us. We'll see you next week, Law Flip. Thank you so much.
Law flip, objection, Your Honor. Turn the game upside down. Law flip, objection, Your Honor. Turn the game upside down.
Okay, so Arian, they're asking where they could find us. So for Law Flip, it's at Law Flip and lawflip.com. For Smith & Benowitz, our law firm, which does personal injury, employment, and class actions, you could find us at Smith Benowitz and smithbenowitz.com. For the personal stuff, like where you're really going to find the juicy stuff, at Benji Smith and benjismith.com. At Wages Guru and lewisbenowitz.com for Lewis. Oh, so Law Flip is produced, directed, and edited by the young legend Arian Tabibian. Visual effects and compositions by another young legend, Oren Azad. Intro music provided by Pen Practice. Pen Practice, what is it? Premium instrumentals for upcoming artists by the music industry's top producers. For more info, visit penpracticemusic.com. I had so much fun recording the intro song with my man Hilton Deuce Wright. Looking forward to hearing more and more from Pen Practice. So the Law Flip identity, this hot logo that you're looking at, created by Garrett Whiston and Travis Nagel. Special thank you to Shai and Seth from the Horwitz Marketing Agency. And lastly, this podcast is made available by Smith & Benowitz for educational and entertainment purposes only. It is only intended to provide general information and opinions about legal and other concepts, and is not intended to be used as a source of legal advice or relied on for legal advice. By listening to this podcast, you understand that no attorney-client relationship is being formed between you and Smith & Benowitz or any of its attorneys. This podcast should not be used as a substitute for competent legal advice from a licensed professional attorney in your state.